I lost, by the way. Anyways, so the magician would let you be able to do little cool things like that.
Little cool things that don't win you the game.
Wow. That was low.
Welcome to Cloudy with a Chance of Meeples, a channel of conversation and board games.
Hey, my name is Brent.
And I'm Nicole.
And welcome to Cloudy with a Chance of Meeples, a channel in which we talk about board games and Everdell. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Sums it up.
We talk about Everdell a lot, and that is because we love the game of Everdell. And of course, if you saw the thumbnail to this video, you will know that you will now be watching our top 10 list of our favorite cards.
That sounds familiar.
It is. It is familiar. Okay, this is number 2.0. We did this with just the original base game. If you want to know what our top 10 list is for that.
It's about a year ago.
It's about just over a year ago in 2022. So you can check that out. But now we're going to take a step back and we're going to do all of Everdell. So this will include, these are top 10 cards for all of Everdell, the complete collection.
Yeah.
Everything. There could be legendary cards in there. There could be cards from Pearlbrook, from Core and Everdell cards. There could be anything in this one. Mm-hmm. So these are our top 10 revised cards for Everdell. I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's cue the thunder. Okay, so our number 10. My number 10 is a card that is a destination card.
Look out.
They cost 1 twig, 1 resin, and 1 pebble. And it is in fact the Lookout.
So predictable.
This was on my top 10 list last time. And to be totally honest, I don't even know what number it was, but that's fine. It's number 10 on this one. The Lookout gives you a private location in which you can copy a basic or force location and just gives more abilities, or not abilities, just more places for you to go, because often you get boxed out on locations that you want to go to.
It is worth 2.
Yeah, and it's worth 2 victory points. So my number 10 is the Lookout.
All right. Good stuff. My number 10, I don't even have to look actually because I already know. It is a production card.
The Farm.
That I love. Yeah, it's the Farm.
The Farm! Man.
It's the Farm. And the Farm was actually my number 10.
Last time?
Last time.
Okay, so it hasn't moved.
So, no.
This is a caveat. I should say. We actually do not know each other's lists.
No.
But we have played Everdell over 230 times. So we kind of know each other's cards that
we like.
Kind of. But she has not seen my revised list. I have not seen hers. No. But I don't think we're going to be able to guess all of them that. But yes,
the Farm, I know.
The original card that James created way back in the day.
And I still love it.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 9. This is a production card, and this is actually from New Leaf. This is one of the newer cards. It's a production card. It is a critter, and
I have a guess, but
it is the Miller.
Thought so.
The Miller. I don't know. Unique critter. You can pay a pebble for 3 victory points.
Yeah,
that just seems
awesome.
I don't know. When we first played New Leaf, and we're like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And we both built them, and then I don't know, one or both of us built
chip sweeps.
Well, either chip sweep or a minor mole, and we were just copying them.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. And you might be thinking, well, how do you have so many pebbles? Well, just sometimes the force locations allow that, and this just seems amazing. Yeah. 1 pebble, 3 victory points.
Yeah.
So my number 9 is the Miller.
Nice. Good stuff. All right, my number 9 is the Postal Pigeon.
The Postal Pigeon.
It was on my list last time too. I think it was higher up. I wrote down my...
It was on my list last time too.
Yeah, last time it was my number 5, but it's obviously moved down a bit because there's other cards that I like more now. But the Postal Pigeon is great. It lets you flip over 2 cards, you get to play one for free. So sometimes that can end up being amazing.
Well, it's kind of like going to the mailbox. Sometimes there's good mail.
Yeah.
And the other time there's junk mail and bills. Right?
Yeah. So it's really random. Like sometimes it's amazing and sometimes it's not, but it's always worth that try, I find.
And it's fun when you like flip over.
And you can just chuck it in your dungeon later. So
the theater or the school, one of these like end game scoring cards, and you get it for free.
Tree,
No, you can't. It's gotta be maximum 3.
Oh yeah, that's right.
3 point.
Yes, that's right. But still, the theater. If you play the theater for free, like I've done that a couple times. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Anyway,
moving on.
Number 9, the postal pigeon.
Okay, so number 8 for me is a critter. It is a production critter. And it is one that lets you reactivate production. And it is the chip sweep.
Okay. Still on your list?
It's still on my list.
Wow.
It might have even been 8 last time. I honestly don't know. But chip sweep, it's just, I love it that they're common critters. And just the reactivating that you can do. And you like, I've had it where I've had all 3 chip sweeps.
I know,
they're common critters, so then you can obviously have more than one. And then when you have like your storehouse, and you can reactivate your storehouse, or if you have a carnival, and you can reactivate the carnival.
But it depends what you're. Yeah, it depends because when you're playing like New Leaf, let's say, like the chip sweep doesn't come up very like you're not as likely to play 2 chip sweeps in your city.
Right.
It's just not gonna happen, but. Yeah, in the base game, yeah.
But yes, my number 8 is the chip sweep.
All right. Keeping it OG for now.
Keeping it OG. No, I had the Miller.
The Miller. Sorry.
You kept it OG.
Wow.
With the farm, the postal pigeon.
Yes, I'm talking about myself.
Okay.
Okay, my number 8 is a new Leaf card.
Okay.
It is a construction, and it is a Tan Traveler.
A new road?
You mean main road?
Main road,
no.
Sir? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. It's the air balloon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about the air balloon.
I know, I like it. So I wrote down what it does because I forget sometimes. You can copy a Tan Traveler in your opponent's city. So sometimes, I mean, there's exceptions. Of course, you can't. There's like a list of things that you can't copy, but. Sometimes you can copy really great things. So it's awesome.
Like, I can see, copying someone's ranger if you don't have a ranger.
I've done that to you, I think.
She has.
So
I can attest to that.
It's awesome. I love it. I
totally forgot about the air balloon.
It's different. Yeah.
Air balloon. Good choice.
And I think it doesn't take up space in your city.
No, it doesn't.
As well. So that's also awesome.
Moving on.
I just hold on. I want to say what my number 8 was last time. Oh, chip sweep. Okay.
All right. Wow, you're really prepared. You got your last list. I know.
So prepared.
Can't compare to this, guys. Can't compare. Let's move on. Okay, so my number 7. This is another New Leaf card. It is also another production card, which I will say that I feel that there are a lot more powerful production cards in New Leaf. A lot of more exciting cards. Yep. Not that the base game don't have exciting cards.
It's just something different.
It's just different.
Yeah.
But this is a production card, and this is the freight card.
Oh, I knew this would be on your list.
Yeah, you build this thing, you put 2 pebbles, 2 resin, 2 twigs, and 2
It's like a glorified storehouse.
It is like the glorified storehouse. It is.
I hope you took that off your list.
Well, we'll have to find out. But you put 2 of every resource on the card, and then you can take any 2 off. And then if you can build this thing soon enough in the game, you can reactivate it a couple times, so you can get potentially 8 resources off this card. And if you can combo that with building it with a crane, then you get it for cheaper. The downside of the freight car, and that is if someone has a minor mole, they can then copy your freight car and steal your goods.
Oh yes.
So I like that aspect of it, that someone can just steal things off of another person's freight car. which has not happened to me yet, and I probably just gave you some strategy tips. But I like the freight car in general, that you can then grab any two resources, because sometimes you're like, I need one of those and one of those. But there's no place on the board for me to get that combination. But if you build that freight car, then you can just take them. And I like that.
Yeah.
So my number 7 is the freight car.
All right. My number 7 was on my list last time. So, yeah. Hang on. I'm just going to check out my number 7. Okay. So my number 7 last time was the university. This time it is the crane.
The crane.
The crane.
Wow.
Good old crane.
1 pebble.
1 pebble. Play a card for 3 less. So, or a construction, I should say, for 3 less. So that's awesome. You can play some pretty good stuff with that card. So I like it. Plus, if you're lucky enough, you get your architect for free.
Yeah.
That's a good
I love that, because the architect,
Yeah.
you know, can get you up to 6 victory points at the end. And believe
The tricky thing is you have to hold on to that crane until you see the architect, unless it's out there.
Right. Very true. Very true. I have played so many games where I'm like, I got my crane, and then I discard it, and I'm like, I'm going to play my free architect. I'm like, it's gone.
It's true.
I played them out of order and just totally got
Yep.
hosed.
It happens.
Yeah, no, crane. Good call. Good call. So on to number 6. This is a destination card.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you the cost of it, because you know right away.
Is it a critter?
It is not a critter. It's a destination card, and it is construction, and it is the university.
Oh.
Which I do believe, if I am correct, my university was number 3 or 4 last time.
I think it was 3.
Yeah, I think it was 3. So it's bumped down a little bit, because there's a few more cards that I like that a little bit more than the university. But the university is still one that, like, if it's out there, I will still like shoot for the moon and try to play it, because it just gives you that flexibility of use a card like the Postal Pigeon to its full potential, and then put a critter on your university, get a card out of your city, gain the resources plus a victory point plus another resource.
Yep.
And so that's really sweet. And then you can get potentially a free doctor. And if you have a berry engine going, you can just pay all those berries for victory points. So the university.
Oh yeah, the university is awesome.
I still love it. Not as much anymore due to a few other cards that have come in to play. But the university, my number 6.
Okay, good choice. My number 6 is new to my list. My number 6 last time was the husband-wife combo where I cheated.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
So it was like my top 11 last time. But yeah, my number 6 this time is the museum.
New leaf card.
Yeah.
Governance.
So I really like that. I love the governance cards in general. You get to draw 2 cards every time you play a card in your city. So it's like a glorified little historian.
It is.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome.
You know what? And that's,
you just have to remember to pick up the cards. That's the trick.
Here's a pro tip. If you're playing Everdell and you have a bunch of governance cards, put them at the top of your city, that top row. Move your cards around, build your city so that your governance are at the top. So anytime you play a card or...
you remember.
So then you just run that engine at the top, whether it's the or whether it's the shopkeeper or the museum or the historian or whatever.
Sometimes I forget, and then I'm so frustrated.
Yes, that man. I had a shopkeeper and I played 3 critters and I could have 3 extra berries. Yeah, it happens to me.
Or that ranger.
I had a berry.
That ranger just flipped into the meadow, and that actually was my card that I forgot to take or whatever.
What?
You know.
What? Okay, she's making fun of me now, I'm sure of it.
No.
What?
Nothing. It's fine.
Okay, so your number 6 is?
The museum.
The museum. Okay, so the top 5 when things get really interesting. This is, my number 5 is a critter.
Okay.
It's a new leaf critter. It's a governance card.
Okay.
And it is what you get if you mash up 2 cards from the base game.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, okay. You take the crane,
I just
you
can't-
take the innkeeper, you mix them together, and you get the inventor.
Inventor, right? Yes.
The inventor is the best
I
of
can
both
picture
worlds.
the picture, but I can't
Yeah,
remember
the
the
little
name.
praying mantis.
Yes, yeah.
The inventor, again, it's a crane or it's an innkeeper.
Right.
You can build that, and then you can play either construction or critter for 3 less resources.
Yep.
So I love that versatility where, you play that inventor and then you kind of just keep them in your city for a while until you're like, okay, now this is the time to play card X, or now's the time to play card Y.
I haven't played that card enough.
So the inventor, I love it.
Yeah, it's worth 1, right? It's a governance.
Yeah, I believe it's worth 1.
Okay.
So but you're gonna, not many people are gonna have an inventor in their city.
Governance or it's a production?
No, it's a governance. Not many people are gonna have an inventor in their city at the end of the game. So
Right.
So really, it could be worth 0.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not gonna,
true.
You're not
Yeah,
gonna
why
use,
is it even worth a point? That's weird.
You're not gonna get it. That would have been really cool if it would have been worth like maybe 3, because then you gotta like question like, is it actually worth
Right.
3 points?
That would be
But
interesting.
come on, chances are you're gonna use that thing to for way more than 3 victory points, even if it was worth 3. So my number 5 is the inventor.
Okay, interesting. Surprised by that. I did not know you liked that card so much.
I do. Well, because I'll back this up on I think on my last list, my number 5 is the crane,
Fair enough.
and I think I might have had the innkeeper. I can't
It's
remember,
like it replaces it.
but it kind of replaces 2 cards.
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, I love it.
True. How much do you have to pay for it though?
I think it's 3 berries.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more expensive because the crane and an innkeeper
I know,
are like
I know.
1 pebble or
Okay.
1 berry.
I have to look at that card again.
Okay.
Okay, so
You're number 5.
my number 5 is also a critter,
Okay.
and it's also a new leaf card.
The gardener.
No, although I considered it, but no. My number 5 is the photographer.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, little
Spidey.
Spidey.
Little Spidey.
So with the photographer, it's end game,
Mm-hmm.
and you can copy an opponent's prosperity card, and like counting it as whatever you have in your city. So like if I would copy your ever tree, it would be worth however many prosperity I have in my city, not how many you have in yours. But it's cool because you can copy some really good things at the end and get like extra end game scoring. Plus, I think it itself is worth 2 victory points. And yeah, I just have found it really nice. And what the tricky part about it though is that if somebody, Brent, let's say, for instance, knows that you have played the photographer, they may not play any prosperity cards.
Yeah.
They may not.
Kind of
And then it's not worth as much.
Yeah.
So,
well, I
so
love
if your
it.
opponents are hate drafting, then
Yeah,
or
no,
whatever.
it's not hate drafting, but
Hate
yeah,
playing.
I hate playing. It's like, oh, you
Then,
got that? I'm
yeah.
clearly not building my school to get 8
Right.
victory points, or for you to get 8
then
victory
it's that,
points on your
that
3
balance.
skirbles.
Is it
or
worth
whatever.
it? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, but I like the photographer.
Right on. Moving on.
Yep.
So, top 4. My number 4 is another new leaf card. It is a production card.
Okay.
It is a critter.
It's the pig. It's the gardener. No, that's a 10 traveler.
It's not.
What is it?
It's the magician.
Oh, right. I forgot about
The magician that is kind of like a little bit less, well, not kind of. It's kind of like the university, but it's a production card.
Yeah.
So it lets you remove a card.
It's not as, yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
Let you remove a card in your city. And it's just another way to remove cards in your city. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, someone dumps the fool in your city, or you
I always
have your
find
postal pigeon.
That one's interesting though because it's production, you have to, so it's immediate activation.
Yep.
So you have to make sure you have a card that you actually want to get
Absolutely.
rid of.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Sometimes I'm like, oh wait, hold on. I
don't wanna play this just
I don't
yet
actually
because-
have a card in here that I want to
Right.
discard.
Yeah, so there are some timing Timing is key with the magician. But it's really cool that you can just remove a card, because I'm always finding it that I don't have enough room in my city.
Right.
And so this just lets you do that.
I don't know if I'm finding that anymore.
It can be
maybe
like just yesterday we played and I lucked out and I was able to use the university to get rid of my dungeon and then rebuild another dungeon, which is really
so
cool.
Annoying.
And I lost by the way. Anyways, so the magician would let you be able to do little cool things like that.
Little cool things that don't win you the game.
Wow. That was low.
I know.
But yes. But like, sometimes you use the ruins and then you're like, I'm going to use the magician to get rid of the ruins because it's already worth 0 points if you've already used the ruins.
Yeah.
And so there's some really cool things that you can do with the magician. So, magician, number 4.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. My number 4 was on my list last time. Okay, my number 4 last time was the ranger. My number 4 this time pairs with the ranger, and it is the dungeon.
The dungeon. Welcome to the dungeon.
And the dungeon was my number 1 last time.
I don't know what your top 3 are.
So what does that tell you about my top 3?
That I have no idea what they are. That's what it tells me.
I love the dungeon still. I find myself using it a lot less.
You do.
Yeah.
I think with New Leaf.
Yes. So here's what I think about my gameplay. I think that in recent months, I have been playing more powerful cards, less of them. Whereas, like, in the first bit of playing Everdell, I would play, like, 8 production cards. And then I would need to get rid of them. I'm not doing that anymore. I don't find. I'm playing, like, way, way less production cards, which I don't know if that's smart either. Because you do need resources.
Right.
But I'm finding other ways to get resources, and I'm not building as much, like, as many cheap, we'll call it cheap, cards anymore. So I'm not needing, it's almost like I barely fill my city sometimes. Right. Or unless I build something very specific that I know I'm going to want to get rid of. Like if I do get lucky enough to have a university and a dungeon, and then I can university my dungeon, like that whole trick, which is really cool. That doesn't always win, but yeah, I don't know. I don't play it as often, but I still like it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And and James has put out a no green challenge. Can you win Everdell?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm still playing my farm, but what
But no, like, people have taken up him on that challenge, and people have won playing no green cards, no production cards, not a single one, and it's really cool. And it just to me speaks the testament of the game design.
And I found, like,
that there's multiple ways to win.
As I go on and on about this, I found more too that, like, even in the last few games that we played, I'm thinking of just randomly that I'm winning more with, if I do win, I'm winning more with victory points or end game stuff than I am with like having a full city, right? Or it's just different.
Well, and that's where, like, the Miller comes into play, right?
Yeah,
when you're throwing pebbles away for 3 victory points each, like, that's
very different game.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That was your number
4.
Number 4. Top 3. These ones hit the podium. My number 3 is a production card.
Okay. Wow.
And I know we're talking about production cards.
Okay.
But this is so much fun. You get the berry engine and you run this thing into the ground.
Oh, your monk.
It is the monk. I love, love the monk.
Let it go.
No, the monk is so much fun. I get it. The trade-off is you're helping your opponents. You're giving them berries. As long as they're not playing with the hedgehog power, they can only do so much with the berries.
Let me tell you a little story about yesterday's Everdell game. We were playing base Everdell yesterday night.
Yep.
And right at the end of the game, I said to Brent, I think I'm done. Like, I think I can't do anything else. I think I'm done. And he says, okay. And he goes and does his turn. And I'm thinking, okay, I think my game's over. And what does he do? Plays his monk. What does he do? Or he reactivates his monk. Or you played it or you... I can't remember. Something. And gives me 2 berries. And guess what happens? I go on to play like 2 or 3 more cards or get like a whole bunch more points just from those 2 berries. That prolonged my game for at least 2 more turns.
Right. Yeah. So it maybe...
like,
and,
wow.
I lost by 16, but whatever. I was losing before I played that monk.
Like, why would you play monk at the end of the game?
No,
But anyway, whatever.
No, the monk is just absolutely fantastic. Of course, it opens the second monastery, which I don't really play, truthfully. But the monk is just so much fun. Just giving things away for victory points.
I think your monk is like my farm.
No.
You can't let it go.
That there is potential truth there, but I just played with a game group and none of them had played. Actually, a couple of the guys hadn't ever played, and I kind of explained the monk, and you get chip sweep, and I think he activated his monk. He played it early, reactivated it, got a chip sweep, reactivated with a chip sweep and ottoman, yada yada yada, and I swear he got like 12 to 16 victory points from his monk.
Okay,
because he just had a little bit of a berry engine, and he just gave the berries away, and it was amazing.
Also, playing a 4-player game with the monk is very different than a 2-player game.
Yeah, because you can spread those berries out to more.
You're not
players.
giving it to one person over and over again.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. Anyway.
But I love the monk, and then you just chuck him in the dungeon when you're done with him. My number 3 is the monk.
All right. You are allowed to have your own opinion. Good.
Yeah.
My number 3 is new, and it is a... prosperity card.
Prosperity card? A new prosperity? Oh, it's the library.
It is not the library.
It's it's the baker.
It's not the baker. The baker isn't that good.
It gives victory points for berries.
Okay, my number 3 last time was the crane. Okay, my number 3 this time is the Everwall.
Oh, yeah, the Everwall.
So you get 2 victory points for every 5 spaces in your city.
So it's up to... Can be up to 6 victory points. Yeah. But its base is what, 6?
Its
base is 5. But it costs 6. I think it costs so much to build.
It costs so much to build, but it's awesome.
And it doesn't take up a space in your city.
Yeah.
Which is
that's right.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So I like that card. It's great. It totally replaces like the Evertree idea for me, because the Evertree, like, as good as it is, it was never on my list because you don't always build that many prosperity cards. And then the Evertree, yeah, it's worth 5. But it costs so much to build that you almost have no resources left to build other prosperity cards. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So this one, I mean, you're going to fill your city, so you're going to get, like, this one's almost feels more guaranteed to me. You know?
Yeah, and then with New Leaf, there are, as you said, the baker, the photographer.
Yeah.
There's the library. There's that many more prosperity cards.
I guess.
So that...
But I still like the Everwall better than the Evertree.
Sorry, yeah, to back up that point of the Evertree, there's now more...
There are
more things
opportunities
to
but
make the Evertree a more...
And I guess, like, your wife counts. But, like, yeah, it's just... Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Everwall.
Nice. Number 2. This was on my list last time, and I just spoke of it, and you just spoke of it, and it just won't go away. It's the dungeon.
Okay.
It's just...
Number 2, hey?
Yeah, number 2. And
all right.
The more I think about it, the dungeon with the university combo or with the magician combo is probably your best bet, because yes, you're building the dungeon for 2 pebbles and a resin, which is kind of expensive, and it's worth 0. And so you're really taking 1 spot in your city so that you can put something else
there later.
Like it's taking up a spot in your city, right?
Yeah.
And so it could potentially not be as good because it is taking up a spot in your city. And yes, you're getting the discount on another card, but so whatever.
I know,
Like there's an argument to
so many variables. Anyway,
there's an argument to say that the dungeon may be not as powerful as maybe I feel it is, but There's just something about, like we said, that postal pigeon, use it, throw him in the dungeon.
I know.
That monk, use him, throw him in the dungeon. The juggler, use him, sell your twigs off for victory points, throw him in the dungeon.
I can never win with a juggler.
We're not going to talk
I
about
will never gamble with that juggler.
You're just paying your...
I'm just paying my 3 twigs and
3 or 4 victory points.
saying peace. Yeah.
So, yeah, my number 2 is the dungeon.
Okay.
Which I think last time it was, in fact, the dungeon still. No movement on that.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. Okay, my number 2 last time was the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
This time it is not the courthouse. It is a new leaf card.
So clearly either the courthouse really fell off or it's your number 1. But I'm betting it that it fell off severely.
I don't know. Anyway,
okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My number 2 is the library.
Oh, yeah, you bookworm.
I really like the... Not just because of that. I like the library. It's awesome. I like that because if you build a nice variety of cards in your city, because you get a victory point 1 or 2? 1.
1 for
each color in your city. So if you're building every color, you're getting 5, right? And the library is worth, I forget, 3? 2? Either way.
But let's be honest. How many times do you play a game in which you're not building 5, like one of each of the type cards?
Well, last time I didn't build any destination, but anyway.
But still, like, that's 5. Whereas if you take, like, the school, it's for every common critter. But not to say you're going to have just common critters. If you have 5 common critters...
Oh, this reminds me of that.
You know what I mean? I'm saying the library, I'm backing up your
I know,
pick.
but I'm saying that talking about this reminds me of that Corn Evertail card, which I maybe should have put on my list too. Where if you have 8...
Oh, the warrior, you can just give cards and resources away?
No, something about different colored cards as well. I'm going to have to look later. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so. I don't remember.
Anyway.
No.
Anywho.
But no,
library.
Yeah, the library is good because it's chances are you're going to play 5 different. Chances are you're going to play one of every type of card,
right? And
they're going to be helping you out in a variety of different ways.
Yeah.
And compare that to, like I said, a school. Or a universe or a school or a theater. Sorry, that's for either a common critter or a unique critter. But chances are you're not. Out of your 15 cards, going to play 5 common critters.
I know.
Like sometimes you will. Yes.
I know.
There are times you will, right?
No,
you play the husband and wife. That's 2 right there.
It just feels
the Wanderer,
just like the Everwall. Like it just feels more guaranteed to me.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like
I'm
building the library, and it's 7 victory points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much.
This is my. Yeah. So I don't have. Clearly, that's my downfall.
It's not your number 1.
I have no prosperity cards on my list.
Wow.
So maybe there's an issue there. So.
Maybe.
So your number 2 was?
The library.
So this brings us to our number 1 card. And Steady Eddie wins the race. Okay, maybe not.
Does this mean that your number 1 is what it was last time?
My number 1 is the same. It's the Ranger. It's my favorite card. It's still my favorite card. Even with 50% more cards in New Leaf, the Ranger is still my favorite card.
Wow.
You know what? It's that extra movement. And sometimes it can like work out really well. You know, you gain an event and then you use your Ranger to take the guy from the event straight to the journey for another 5 victory points.
Right.
Or to another event.
Yeah.
Or to...
You go to a visitor...
a destination, so then you all of a sudden
for New Leaf.
Yeah, you go to the visitor, you get another visitor, which could get you, 5, 6, 7 victory points. So there's just something opens up the second spot of the dungeon, which again, the Fungeon.
You and your
it's
dungeon.
awesome. Me and my dungeon, me and my ranger. Nothing changed.
Ah.
I will say this though. The module in New Leaf that has the train tickets. We talked about this. It kind of replaces the Ranger.
That's why I don't have it on my list.
And and so if you haven't played New Leaf, there are train tickets where you can use multiple times. You can use it twice in a game.
And
first time you play it,
like,
it just moves a deployed worker to another location.
We've used these in not New Leaf too, so then it kind of...
Yeah, like you can play that module if you're playing Spirecrest or
I
Bell.
don't feel like I need the Ranger anymore as much.
I know.
I passed up the Ranger yesterday on purpose.
Well, I already had the
Because I
dungeons.
had better things to do. Isn't that weird?
I know, and I lost by 16. So again, I'm not saying these are the 10 cards to play
I'm
to win.
saying, I know, these are your favorites.
These are my
That's
favorite
fine.
cards, and it's still just...
That's fine. It's just
the Ranger.
interesting. I was not expecting your number one to still be the Ranger. Wow.
It's still number
Okay.
one, the Ranger.
You are just...
And furthermore on that,
Loyal.
I love the Ranger so much that when we play Milo Everdell, I play the Ranger there too. And it's the same power. You get to move your one deployed worker to another one. And it's just...
Oh, you're funny.
It's only worth 1 base point. It's unique. But, I don't know. It's the Ranger, number one.
Okay, all right.
I don't know what your number one is.
My number one, well, last
Tell me what
time it
your
was
old one was.
the
last
dungeon.
One. Okay, tell me what this
Okay.
one is, and let me try to guess.
What do you mean?
Like, tell me what type of card it is.
Oh, okay. So it's a production card,
A New Leaf card?
a New Leaf card.
A New Leaf production card? Oh, I know what it is.
What?
It's the Tea House.
The Tea House would not be my number one.
You always play the Tea House,
That
though.
would be like having the farmhouse my number one. I like the tea house.
I know.
The tea house honestly is my number 11 because I had it on my list and I had to take it off because I never even wore it. So,
But you... Okay, just wait. Okay.
it's something you've already mentioned, Brent.
Oh, it's the Miller.
Yes, it's the Miller.
Yeah,
the
the
Miller
Miller.
is flippin' amazing.
Yeah.
I can't get over it. I love the Miller. It's the best. It's the new best.
We play, yes. And it is number 9. But yeah, seriously, the Miller is...
It's amazing. And I mean, you got to have the right
You gotta have the pebbles,
combo.
but if
You
you're...
got to have pebbles. You got to be able to give them away. And I get that.
I think the
But
Miller...
3 victory points? Think about that.
Yeah, I know. You do it 3 times.
3
like,
victory points. Like if it was 1 victory point per pebble, it'd be like, nah. But,
no one would build that card.
well,
then.
I might.
No one would.
Victory I'm learning that victory points are powerful.
Yeah, and in New Leaf we play, and
So-
like their games where we'll have like 35 to 40 victory points.
Yeah.
And the Miller is part of that.
I know.
Part of the reason.
I know. I have gotten like 20 victory points from the Miller before. Well, 21 I guess would be the correct number there. But yeah, like it's insane.
Yeah.
So the Miller is my new, never been on my list before because I didn't know about it last year.
Yeah.
But it's my new number 1.
Well, I still remember playing New Leaf the first time, and I was like, no way. One
I know, we
pebble?
were looking at the card, we're looking at the rules, we're like,
Are we missing something?
is this right? Are we doing this right? This seems
It just seems too good to be true. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is. 'Cause
And
it's
maybe
production, you can reactivate this thing. It's crazy.
and maybe it's like a consolation prize to the moles, which is, in my opinion, the worst player power. So
Right.
this just makes the Miller just makes the moles more viable.
True.
Because you can get pebbles all the time
Yeah.
then. And then you build the Miller, you build a chip sweep, you build hopefully you build a minor mole. Hopefully someone else has built a minor mole. You just reactivate your own Miller.
You're basically spending your whole game trying to figure out ways to reactivate your Miller.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
And to gain pebbles. So right on. Yeah, it is good. But Ranger's still my number 1.
All right, fair enough.
There you have it. That is our revised list of Everdell cards, including the complete collection. If some of these cards are not new to you, check out New Leaf. Check out a review for New Leaf. Spoiler alert, we love it. But what are your top 10 Everdell cards? Put them in the comments below. Let us know where we have gone wrong or maybe where we've gone right.
Yeah.
So check us out on Facebook, Cloudy the Chance of Meeples. Thank you for joining us. Till next time, my name is Brent.
And I'm Nicole.
Remember, grab your umbrella. The forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to grab your umbrella because the forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.